Say hello to Mr. Big. He's joining us today. On today's video, we are going to be making over thrifted items and turning them into gorgeous, dark and moody spring decor. The first project is this picture frame, this gold frame that I picked up for $2. It was on sale for half off at the thrift store. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take off the backing of this artwork, and then I'm going to remove all of these staples. It would have made a lot more sense to use some needle nose pliers, but I just used what I had inside. It was a little bit chilly to be outside looking in my garage. So all I'm doing here is I'm removing all of those staples. I'm using these little cutters and a screwdriver and my scissors. Probably not the best move, but that's what I use. My name is Emily, and I'm with J. Bowen & Company. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to watch this video, and if you've been here before, welcome back. We are going to have a lot of fun on today's video, and I think you're really going to enjoy these dark and moody spring decor items that you can incorporate into your home today. I then pulled out my Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Coal Black, and I took the backing cardboard that was already in the frame and I gave it 2 coats of that Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Coal Black. I then cleaned the glass and the frame with a Clorox wet wipe. After the paint had dried completely, I then took out one of the new Iron Orchid Designs transfer sets called Wilde Bloemen. This is a really gorgeous set. I think you will really like it. It has all kinds of florals and birds and fun things that you can make multiple projects out of. So when I saw this transfer set and I saw these pansies, I knew that I was going to love this set, and I knew that I was going to make something for myself with those pansies. Those pansies remind me of my mother and my grandmother, and I usually always have pansies as well. So all you're going to do, if you've never used a transfer before, is you're just going to take out that stick that it comes with that I'm using right now, and you're going to peel off the white backing. You're going to stick it directly onto your project, and then you're just going to rub and pull at the same time until your transfer comes off directly onto your project, and then you're just going to rub it in to make sure that it is securely attached to your project. And then I thought I would use this little dragonfly as well and add it onto this project. But I thought it was really pretty. I love the dark background with the flowers. I think it gives it a more moody look, more organic type look. And I just think it is going to turn out really nice, and I think you're going to like how it turns out. So normally you would need to seal up your piece, but because it's going to be under this glass, you don't need to seal it. You can just leave it as is. I'm just giving the glass another clean to make it sparkle with this glass cleaner, and then I'm going to put the glass back in and then just take out this little handy gun that I have. If you don't have one of these guns, it's really great. It attaches all of your artwork. It shoots those little darts into your artwork to hold, or into the frame to hold your art. Anyway, if you like how this turned out, y'all give me a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and subscribe. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on my upcoming videos. I have a lot of really great videos coming up here shortly. I had to remove the glass for these photos and the videos because otherwise there was just too much of a glare. So give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, if you like how this project turned out. The next project is this little ceramic bunny that I think I paid $1 or $2 for. It had not been painted or glazed or anything, so I thought that I would make this over into a gorgeous brass look. This piece must have originally been for $7. So this is a way that you can make any piece look high-end and look like brass. I'm going to show you how you can take anything and make it look like brass. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to paint your piece black. I'm using the Coal Black in the Fusion Mineral Paint again. So you're just going to cover your entire piece with black, and then you're going to let it dry. Now this is going to turn into a really high-end and moody look. I kind of went back and forth between doing a white wax on top of this or going for the brass look, but I talked to my husband and he thought that the brass look would be great for this video, and I'll do a white wax over black in another video to show you how that looks as well. Sometimes when I think of dark and moody, I kind of think of weird or Halloween or something like that. But it doesn't have to be like that at all. Actually, it can be a very traditional look, and I think it can go with just about any style. Brass is very popular right now, and a lot of brass items can be expensive unless you're able to pick them up at a thrift store, and the thrift store has not caught on that brass is expensive and popular. So this is a way that you can take any kind of item that you have, think Easter eggs, bunnies, butterflies, figurines, really anything, and you can make it look really high-end by using this effect. If you're interested in purchasing any of the items that you're seeing in this video today, including the Fusion Mineral Paint, the DIY paint, the Iron Orchid Designs, or any of the other projects or products, I'm going to have them linked in my description so that you can purchase if you choose. So growing up, we had a lot of brass in my house. In fact, Mom and Dad still have all the brass stuff. And it's funny because now it's so in style. They have this big horse. I mean, a big horse. It's probably 3 or 4 feet tall. They have parrots. They've got turtles. Just, I mean, anything you can imagine, we had it in brass. In fact, we had this little turtle that had a little lid on it. The lid was attached, but we'd always put little things in that. And Mom always had it on one of our end tables. And, you know, in our living room. In fact, she still has that today, but I'm kind of going off of that look and what that turtle looked like, and I'm going to do that same effect to this one. So now what I've done is I've taken out my metallic bronze. This is called metallic bronze from Fusion Mineral Paint, and I have used this over and over and over again on many different projects. In fact, I have a whole video, my second video that I ever made on YouTube. I did this with many different projects. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take this paint and you're just going to paint it on top of your piece, and then you're just going to take a paper towel and wipe it back. I tried to see what it would do with a wet wipe, but I didn't like that effect. I thought it took off too much of the bronze color. Now, I also carry this Fusion Mineral Paint metallic paint in other colors. If you're not a big fan of this brass or bronze look, I have various shades of golds, coppers, rose gold, pewter, silver, etc. So you can find those colors over on my website, and you can do the same exact look with any of those metallic colors of your choice. Brass often has a little bit of patina, so I decided that I would pull out this wax called Shipwrecked. It is this gorgeous turquoise teal color, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that, and then I'm just going to wipe it back just to give it a little bit of patina, just to make it look natural like brass often looks. And that's all I'm doing, is I'm just applying it. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to the bunny. I'm not putting it all over there. And then I'm just going to wipe it off with a paper towel. If you want to wipe off more, you can take out a wet wipe, and that'll take off a lot more of the turquoise blue Shipwrecked if you're not interested in having as much of that on your piece. One of the things that I like about the metallic paints is that it cures or dries really, really quick. It's much quicker than the normal Fusion Mineral Paint, even though that doesn't take that long. But here is the final reveal. What do y'all think about this little ceramic bunny turned brass? If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And I want y'all to be watching these projects and let me know which one is your favorite. I picked up these two gorgeous frames for just a few dollars at the thrift store. They had some outdated artwork in them, so I went ahead and used some primer and I primed right over the top of the outdated artwork. It was just something that was mass produced, nothing original or nice or anything like that. Just something that was probably kind of looks like something you might have found at Kirkland's or something like that. That's just outdated. I primed these a while back and I thought I had taken a video or a picture, but I couldn't find it. So here we are. I took out one of the new colors from Iron Orchid Designs. This one is called Eden. It's a gorgeous dark green, kind of like a forest green color, and I ended up giving these pieces 2 coats of the DIY paint. The thing about DIY paint is it's a clay-based paint. It can be reactivated by water, so you have to use one of the sealers. And I'm using what's called Big Top. This is one of the water-based sealers from DIY paint. And you also have to make sure that the paint fully cures and fully dries. I usually like to do that overnight, but in this case I decided to heat it with a heat gun, and here I'm just giving it a coat of the Big Top on both of these different pieces of art. I let the Big Top dry, and then I pulled out my Rose Botanical transfer set. I had picked out 2 of these transfers that were the perfect size and I thought would look gorgeous in these frames. Now trying to decide if I want to place these straight up and down or if I wanted to slant them a little bit. I decided to trim down just a little bit more so it would fit more easily, and then I decided to go with the straight up and down. Now, in full disclosure, I thought about editing this part out, but then I thought, you know what? I'm going to show y'all what happened and what can happen if you're not careful. So I started applying this transfer set just like normal, and I was noticing that it wasn't sticking right there on the left side. And I was like, what is going on? This is really weird. It was coming off really good on the right-hand side, but something was wrong on the left-hand side. That's when I realized that the paint was not completely dry because some of the paint was actually attaching to the plastic transfer instead of the transfer attaching to the piece. So this is when I learned a lesson, and this is what I'm going to teach you to not to do. So make sure that your paint is completely dry or you're going to have this problem. I ended up being able to save this. I was able to take off the piece, not in that one little area, I couldn't save that, but down there at the bottom it did the same type thing. And I was able to very carefully, I guess there was one piece at the top, I was able to carefully peel it off and then attach it, and then I applied the sealer on top, and that worked okay. But you have to make sure that your piece is completely dry. I then waited over an hour to make sure that the Big Top and the paint was completely dry before I applied the second transfer. This transfer is also from the Rose Botanical transfer set, and I do have several of this set available. This set is from last year's summer release, so if you haven't picked this one up, I do have several available and they will be linked in my description. So I went ahead and trimmed this one up. Again, I decided to place it straight up and down. I made sure that I had it just where I wanted it, and then I placed it down, and I'll let you just watch the rest of this. Y'all know how to apply a transfer now, so I'll just let you take a look at this. This is the fun part where the transfer actually goes onto your piece, and it's my favorite part. And then just remember that after you transfer it, you have to make sure with your hands that you rub it down, and then we'll apply the Big Top sealer. After I applied a thin coat of the sealer, I then went back with my paintbrush. It's really liquidy, and I just made little crosshatch marks to make it look like it's a painting. I love how these gorgeous pieces of art turned out. They just cost me a few dollars and I think they are stunning. If you like them, please give me a thumbs up. And if you've watched this far in the video, please leave me a rose emoji. Originally, I was going to go with a black background, but I thought a dark green would be perfect for spring. Would you have used black or green? The next project is this tray that I had painted a while back. I painted it white, I distressed it, and I never really liked it. I think it was with a chalk paint. I think it was a chalk paint from Walmart, and I just really didn't like how it looked. So I thought that I would give it an update. I had previously tried to sell it in my booth, but it had been at my house for a good while. So now I'm going to give it a makeover. I decided to use the Damask paint from Fusion Mineral Paint. This is a gorgeous, kind of like a dusty rose color. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but I had to give it 2 coats of paint. So now I'm giving it the second coat of paint, but it's really just a gorgeous, soft pink, but I thought that I needed to age it up a bit to make it look a little bit moodier. I ended up changing paintbrushes midstream because of those little divots in the tray. It was hard to paint with just a regular paintbrush, so I took out this pointed sash paintbrush, which is much better when you're trying to get into little divots or crevices or corners, even like ridges, things like that. You want to use a pointed paintbrush for that because it'll make the job a lot easier. After I let this dry completely, I thought that it would look good to paint these handles and give them more of a high-end look. So I pulled out that metallic bronze from Fusion Mineral Paint again, and I gave it a coat of paint on those handles. I had to clean up a little bit around the handles where the paint had gotten on the tray. Then I decided to just splatter a little bit of that color all over the tray just to give it a little bit more character. I got one little splatter that was a bit much. I ended up off camera wiping that off and just going over it because it just was a little bit distracting to me. Now I could have stopped right here and it would have been just fine, but I decided to age it up a little bit more. And what you can't see off camera or on camera is that there are some little cracks from the previous paint job because I'd put a little bit of crackle underneath. So I wanted to put some DIY dark wax on top of this so that I could bring out any of the crackle that was already in this piece and just age it up a little bit, especially since this is a dark and moody video. So after I applied this wax, I then took out my paper towel and I wiped it away. However, I thought that enough didn't come out. I didn't want to look dirty or just really aged up too much. So after I used the paper towel, I came back with one of my wet wipes and then I just wiped it back a little bit more just to bring out some more of that gorgeous pink color. I then took out that shipwrecked again and I added just a little bit to where the screws were or the indentions were or are on that handle just to make it look natural, like it has a little bit of patina. Mr. Big is barking and I don't know why. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and I will talk to you in the comments. And if you haven't watched my latest video, check it out.